So Lennox Lewis called it Boxing 101 Usyk, hashtag Joshua Usyk, as is to suggest that Usyk gave Anthony Joshua a boxing lesson. Following that, Lou DiBella weighs in and says, what a great fucking fighter and likable charismatic character Usyk is, a brilliant heavyweight champion and definitive pound for pound. Congrats to my friend Klimas Boxing and the entire Usyk team. I have so many Ukrainian friends partying right now. Viva Ukraine. Viva Ukraine? Alright, whatever you say. Ishe Smith states the following: Joshua is the most complex heavyweight I've ever seen. Some people dispute that. Dan Raphael goes a little bit overboard when he states the following, but maybe not. Maybe not. He says, Usyk probably punched a Hall of Fame ticket by beating Joshua with no controversy. Dominating cruiserweight champion, was undisputed long-time pound-for-pound guy, and now holds 3 of the 4 heavyweight titles. Throw in an Olympic gold medal, that's Hall of Fame stuff. Well, to a certain degree, maybe yes. Eddie Hearn, great fight, always hard to lose, but congratulations Usyk on a hell of a performance. Okay, and lastly we've got Gervonta Davis, who says, I wasn't impressed. Alright, moving on. Somebody said, like, well, you know what, they're not impressed with his opposition of late, but hey, Gervonta, it's got to be like that, because he's a he's a good boxer too. So if he sees it and says, I wasn't impressed, there's got to be something there. Some people ain't gonna like it, but I like somebody like Gervonta Davis can say that, and I'll tell you why I feel like Gervonta Davis can say something like that in regards to Anthony Joshua, Usyk beating Anthony Joshua, and I'm gonna go into it right now. Thank you very much.
Get the fuck out of here.
So here is how I am going to review and evaluate the aftermath of the fight between Anthony Joshua and Alexander Usyk. Congratulations to Alexander Usyk becoming the unified heavyweight champion with the IBF, WBA, WBO belts. The WBC, of course, is going to be fought for between Tyson Fury and Deontay Wilder, and I shall make a reference to that later as I talk about the view from the other side in regards to this fight. Of course, the initial view was that nobody was going to be interested in the fight because, hey, there was so much going on in the United States. Nonetheless, we always knew that if Anthony Joshua is fighting, they would cast a side eye to see whether they get the kind of outcome that they would like to see. And on this occasion, of course, they did. But there's a certain somberness about it. People can be somber and philosophical about the outcome of this fight. And ironically, I happen to believe that regardless of how the Deontay Wilder fan, especially when I talk about the voices from the other side, might despise Anthony Joshua, I think they're going to really miss the opportunity to use Anthony Joshua to sell opportunities for Deontay Wilder. That has been eliminated, and I don't think it's the same thing when it comes to white folk like Alexander Usyk. I think the days of picking a fight with some black African from the United Kingdom and calling most of the names are over. Now these two fighters, be it Tyson Fury or Deontay Wilder, have to stand on their own 2 feet and sell their own fight, and I think that their task has become a lot more difficult. So that being said, however, let's look at the fight itself. There's no other way to put it. I suspected it was going to happen. That's why I didn't even want to say much about the fight. Somebody asked me, what did I think? I said, I hope, and that was a key word. I said, I hope that Anthony Joshua wins, however, or in whatever means necessary way. I can't remember verbatim what I wrote, but I kind of always lacked confidence in Anthony Joshua. I've just always wanted to support him, but I haven't had absolute confidence that he's going to win. And that's okay. I never have confidence in any team I support. Okay? I never have absolute confidence in every team I support. You have to have absolute overwhelming odds for me to believe that, yeah, it's a done deal. I mean, look, if you got, like in football, if you got Manchester United playing some team in the FA Cup who has a stadium of about 4,000, they're gonna, I mean, because of the lottery, yeah. But sometimes that can even, they call it giant killer, that can happen too. So, I think with Anthony Joshua, what makes it exciting for me is the fact that sometimes it's always a toss-up. And when he keeps on going past each and every, challenge put before him, and there's a whole bunch of doubters there, he's not going to do it, he's not a great fighter, and he passes that. It's another one where you could say, like, okay, you know what? He didn't just survive, but he exhibited some things that were interesting and clever. But I felt that with Usyk kind of knew that he had to be a thinking fighter. And I don't think that Anthony Joshua just was equipped to take on a thinking fighter with great movement who was also a southpaw. Let's not forget that Usyk is a southpaw as well. So it was extremely difficult for a very, and here's the thing with Anthony Joshua, it doesn't do anything instinctively. A lot of it has been built. So, a lot of it has been built, and a lot of it is sort of inspired by fighters who were, quite frankly, inflexible when things didn't go their way. You see him doing that neck thing. You know, when he does that neck thing, rolls the neck, just because Tyson did it, it serves no fucking purpose, to be honest with you. What purpose does it serve to have a fucking God knows what inch neck, apart from aesthetically looking great? You know what I mean? During the days of Tyson, you could be impressed by it, but look, when Tyson got stopped, he gets stopped. That big neck didn't stop him from getting stopped. So, that being said, alright, that being said, I kind of felt like, he could pull it off. And I did say something about the best boxers, as far as I can tell, and especially specifically in this case, was going to be somebody who played basketball. Now, the only one who I knew who's agile as a basketball player, and was able to take on a very agile fighter, and we all kind of knew he was agile, was Teofimo Lopez. And Teofimo Lopez was very, very agile. He could do all those, you know, that dance he used to do the somersault. You know what I'm saying? He's very agile. You have to be agile. You cannot be a stiff bodybuilder rolling your neck, like Mike Tyson, thinking you were going to beat a fighter like that. You know what I'm saying? I just felt like there was just a certain thing that you had to do. Those people, they were training with gymnasts and stuff. They were doing gymnastics, so they had to have position landing and position, so he could bounce around all day. He needed something like that. And I felt that basketball was going to do it. You weren't going to roll your neck like Tyson, fight like Tyson, hit hard like Tyson, when the person is just dancing around and moving like that. And that's more or less, you know, something. And that's why Lomachenko had problems with Teofimo Lopez. That's why I knew he was going to have problems with Teofimo Lopez, because Teofimo Lopez could move, and he had position, and he could jump in and take you out, like he did Magdaleno. You know what I'm saying? The way he took Magdaleno out was like, you know, like a gymnast. So I had a feeling that it was gonna be difficult. But like I said, people are philosophical about it, because there's a certain solemnness about it, but not sadness. There's a certain disappointment, but not sorrow. Okay, you know what I mean? Like, okay, it's a solemn occasion. It was a big deal, you know, 70, but nobody's even bothered, like, okay, he was embarrassed in front of all these people. Nah, it was just like, you know what, man, everybody's kind of exhausted anyway. Exhausted. You kind of knew that there's a possibility that this was going to be the case, and that's what happened. And Anthony Joshua, if he is what he says he is, he'll go back to the drawing board. And he'll go back to the drawing board, and he'll make adjustments and, you know, deal with it. But listen, the only adjustment he can make, all right, is to get more agile. Okay, more agile, and sort of incorporate different things to deal with agility into his fighting style. Okay, agility and stamina, strength and conditioning. One, you got that on lock. Okay, it is what it is. All this, but you know, you cannot fight a guy like that. You know what I'm saying? I mean, that's why, listen, that's why Bellew had more success against Usyk than Anthony Joshua did. And I'm not going to argue that Tony Bellew is a better boxer than Anthony Joshua. Michael Hunter had better success than Anthony Joshua did. And I'm not really going to argue that Michael Hunter is a better boxer. Okay? It's just that particular style requires something different. And you're not going to go there being an orthodox sort of Olympian sort of fighter, you know what I'm saying, with a box standard method of training. I mean, you could bring all sorts of things, but it required something different. It's thinking out of the box, okay? It did require that. I mean, Usyk was throwing basketballs as well. You can check it. He was throwing basketballs. He was taking shots. He was shooting hoops for position as well. I saw it. Now, the reason why I didn't put it up is because I felt that maybe they were editing it. You know what I'm saying? But he was throwing from downtown, and that showed me that he had position, he knew what was doing, and Anthony Joshua needs to incorporate things like that, different things like that. Obviously, he took some influences from that camp with the juggling, but that's not enough. You know what I'm saying? Your movement, your legs and stuff. I don't know. You know, that's why they call him a big stiff idiot and all that stuff. But you know, he's not the only one. He's a lot better than some. You know what I mean? A lot of Tyson Fury and them fake it. Now, the reason why I said I was going to make a reference to Tyson Fury and Deontay Wilder is like, I think the Tyson Fury Deontay Wilder fight becomes a little bit more difficult to sell, because when you always have this not specter, but this shadow of Anthony Joshua looming, and you can use it to your advantage. That's one thing. Now they don't have that. Now it's a fight that has to stand its own 2 feet. And now you really don't know how you want this fight to turn out, because if Tyson Fury wins, I bet you any money that he's not going to fight Usyk. All right. If Deontay Wilder wins, Deontay Wilder isn't going to fight Usyk. Okay. Because Usyk has a rematch anyway, so fine, fair enough. So where do they go? If Anthony Joshua had won, then that would free up that spot where they could say, okay, you know what? Yeah, now we can go for, oh, he's not going to fight me anyway. You know how Deontay Wilder do. He's still not going to fight me. He's not going to fight me. But now you got Usyk there. The tone is going to change. And like one of the great observers of the Deontay Wilder fan club says, you know what I mean? When it comes to Canelo Alvarez, the same thing is going to apply here. The change in tone of these Negroes is going to be very interesting to watch. Very interesting to watch. They're going to have a different tune when it comes to Usyk, because Usyk is white and Usyk has a white fan base, and they can be very resentful and very, very determined when they want to be, and they scare the bejesus out of niggas. Okay, so they scare the bejesus out of niggas. So that's not going to happen. All right, you can't even deal with Mexicans, not to talk of resentful, angry white folk. You know what I'm saying? And we're not talking about the ones that kind of partially in the sort of English want to support the Jippo type. With Tyson Fury. This is a different type of animal we got here. We got someone who they can really believe in on that Lomachenko level in the heavyweight division. This is going to be different. So if you want trolling, if you start running your mouth, you start bringing those, don't start crying, because this isn't Anthony Joshua now. You know what I mean? They're going to come for you, and you know it. So, don't start crying. Yeah, you'll be fixing racism, man. No. You know what I mean? Be careful what you wish for. And let's be honest here. You kind of wished it. You kind of wished that he was going to lose anyway. You've been wanting it since God knows when. So this is what you get. And it's going to make it's going to really impact the Tyson Fury, Deontay Wilder fight. I don't think tickets are really going to sell that well. I don't think the fight's going to sell that well, because there's no shadow of Anthony Joshua on the horizon. But here's the thing. Here's another interesting thing that I saw. And you'll excuse me, it's just an observation I made. I thought, let me just see for a second what this Negro's talking about. And this dude, he's saying, he's reading one of the comments, and he even agrees. Now, if you got a person who makes a stupid comment, fair enough. But when you agree, that's when you know a nigga ain't shit. You know what I'm saying? It's like, oh, the guy writes, cause it's a super chat thing. How does Eddie Hearn keep on getting away with rematch clauses? Now, I'm sorry, aren't we talking about a bunch of Deontay Wilder fans here? You want to talk about Anthony Joshua getting rematch clauses and get away with it? You got a motherfucker who went to arbitration, and you're all fucking jumping around thinking if he doesn't get the next fight. This is a third fight, by the way. We're not talking about a rematch. We're talking about a third fight. You all start jumping around. Oh yeah, back in blood, this and that, blah, blah, blah. But you want to have a problem with somebody who loses his belt and has a rematch clause written into it, even though the rematch clause was signed in because obviously they were able to take 70,000 people to a stadium. So hey, listen, man, I'm just saying. It is what it is. Congratulations to Usyk. We'll see how Anthony Joshua does. Sorry, forgive me. How Deontay Wilder does. I'm not rooting for Wilder. I'm certainly not rooting for that fucking weirdo Tyson Fury. But if you were to ask me, I think Deontay Wilder's bluffing. I think he's way too melodramatic. The way he's talking doesn't sound serious to me. It sounds like he wants to be an actor. This isn't a fucking film. And if he does win with that kind of, with all the ominous music and the bullshit he does and all the slow talking and the performance for the camera, I don't believe in that shit. That's just fucking garbage. People who are real don't talk like that. You understand me? But everything's got to be like a performance with this dude. Okay? Just like in the ring when he pulls that fucking Bruce Lee stunt. It's garbage for me. Alright? And now you change your whole style. We'll see. I'm not running him down. I never liked the motherfucker anyway. It is what it is. I never liked Tyson Fury, but I was kind of surprised Tyson Fury beat him up the last time, and I don't expect Tyson Fury to beat him up this time, but I expect it to be a draw of some sort. Alright? I don't expect Deontay Wilder to be able to knock him out either, so I expect it to be a draw. Now, I might get disappointed, but then again, I won't be disappointed, but I don't give a shit. And quite frankly, this particular type of fight and what happened today encourages me more to watch more basketball. So that being said, thank you for listening to this video. Have a good day and goodbye.